Don't trust nobody. Nobody trusts me. Never gonna trust anybody. And that's the way it's gonna be. Oh.
Alright. Yeah.
That was totally under.
Yeah, totally, definitely.
Welcome! Wait! Monomy's such a dumb child.
Hey, there's already somebody here.
Hey!
I wonder if it's Ray Kid 2001.
It's either Ray Kid or Monokuma. Definitely Monokuma came back.
That's...
Yep.
Yo, what up?
Welcome to the Muppet Show.
Yay!
Yeah, you gotta do the
Yeah. Welcome to the Muppet Show. Yay! It's me! It's me! Oh, no. He told me. Oh, wait. You don't know me. Get out of here. Go
Are
on.
you Kermit the Frog? No.
It's 11:30 at night.
Anyway... Bye-bye!
I'm not available. Shut up.
I won't let you. Hey! Huh?
Huh? What the fuck
Damn
is
it!
going on? Nani?
Well...
I don't remember if it was Tekken 4 or Tekken 5, but Higashi says Nani when he's about to get blown up. Nani!
How about it?
What do you yearn for?
See? I'm gonna do it!
The guy said, what do you yearn for? Is that what he said?
I think so.
Because, what's his name says you'll find out soon enough, like right afterwards. Sounds like what?
Yep.
I've got this dog over here that won't stop fighting with the other toy.
You just gotta take your legs and wrap around her butt and let go. Watch, just do it. It's not like that.
Kick butts. I don't like to kick butts.
Hi, I'm Mike Carrier, and I like to kick butts.
That's creepy, Aurora. Why would you put that right up here?
It's right there.
That's how she shows affection, I guess. I was rubbing my cat's chest and I noticed the nipples wet.
Oh my god! Oh, what is wrong with you?
Hey, Richard! Red Rocket! Red Rocket!
Oh my god!
Red Rocket, Dad! Red Rocket, Sparky! Red Rocket!
Red Dragon! Yeah!
Can you milk me, Greg?
I have nipples, Greg.
Can you milk me?
Hey, nipples, could you milk me? It was actually one of the best scenes of that whole movie.
This is Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro being like, could you milk me?
Just makes it awesome.
Just straight up to Ben Stiller. It's just like...
Aww.
Well, that's nice, Ray Kid.
I'm glad you could join us, Ari.
Yeah, glad you could be here. You coming tomorrow?
I hope you are. Because we're gonna play Cluster Truck tomorrow. And also, possibly, watch
Oh, yeah.
Team America. What place? I don't know why I did that in an act. It's not even an act. She'll be there. She'll be here tomorrow.
And it's Lewis.
No, no.
We have PS Vitas over here. Now it's your turn to get one.
That's...
Join us.
Well now. Yoo-hoo!
Taylor needs to concentrate.
Sorry, maybe I secretary. I'm sorry when I saw that.
Alright, we'll get it soon. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I know you're good. You only go to Nintendo products.
He has a PS4.
Don't forget
That
Pokemon.
he never uses.
I see him online occasionally.
I never. You even have me added? Lewis, do you even have me added on PlayStation? Because I never see you online.
Cheesy! Just watch this review with the Spider-Man 2 pizza theme. The music will go with this, I swear. You ever heard the pizza theme from Spider-Man 2?
Don't forget to tip.
Alright, I don't think I've gotten any others.
I also got one about a toilet. It's pretty shitty. I love those little jokes.
Yeah.
They're funny. That joke's pretty funny.
I have a
Now
special
then,
place in my
let's
heart
begin
for
with
dad
a stirring the
jokes.
class trial. You will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it.
Yeah.
If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person,
The vampires.
I will punish everyone besides the blackened.
Did you hear
And that
about
person
the
will earn
security
the
guards
right
that
to
got
leave
renamed at
this
the Samsung
island.
store? They decided to call them Guardians of the Galaxy.
And just to think, they were only 3 days away from retirement.
Oh well, who cares about this boring explanation? Let's get on with it already.
I don't mind starting the trial, but I don't really have a grasp of how the case played out. You know, because I was asleep the whole time.
Oh,
Even if you do grasp it, you're just gonna confuse the heck out of us, aren't you?
But Nagito's not alone. I don't really get it either.
You do not know the way.
I know the way, brother.
You have to have Ebola.
I know the way, brother.
You have to have Ebola.
You're fine. Your head's empty anyway.
Empty head?
Not Lewis.
What's wrong with that?
That doesn't surprise me.
Listen up. The emptier your head, the more dreams you can stuff
I know
inside
the
it, you know?
Anyway, we shouldn't proceed with the
Break-in does
trial
not
if
know the
those
way.
two can't participate in the
You do not have
arguments.
Ebola.
Since he's the first witness,
Why are you
why don't we
running?
ask Hajime to explain the incident and the sequence of events?
Where's the queen?
Then, let's
You're
start
not
with when
going
we
to win.
split into the hospital team and motel team because of the despair disease. The hospital team consisted of Nagito,
You need a
Yuki, and
teacher!
Akane, who were
I
infected,
can show you the
and
way!
Nikon, Fuyuhiko, and me.
The other 5 in the motel team were myself, Gundam, Kazuichi, Chiaki, and Hyoko.
Spending the night at the hospital was prohibited, so Hajime and I had to sleep at our cottages.
I woke up at my cottage on the day the incident happened. Nikon came by to wake me up and told me that Nagito had recovered from
Oh,
his symptoms.
I gotta do typical pretentious weeaboo. Universal Century owns everything else is hot garbage!
We immediately headed over to the hospital, and after we confirmed his
it's an
recovery,
art for a Gundam.
I made Mikan rest in the on-call room, since she hadn't slept all night. And then, I saw the incoming signal light on the surveillance camera blinking before our scheduled time. When I pressed the button to turn on the monitor, what appeared on screen was a video of someone wearing a hospital gown and a hemp bag on their head, climbing a stepladder.
Amazing! That's such a heart-pounding story! And then what did you do, Hajime?
I tried to stop them, of course. I rushed out of the hospital and ran to where the video was being recorded, the music venue. But it was too late. By the time I arrived, the person wearing the hemp bag on their head was already hanging from the ceiling.
The entire chat is just gonna be dad jokes the entire time.
It probably will be.
Honestly, I'm fine.
I thought I should tell the others right away, so I headed to the motel.
You're doing God's work, Bray Kid. You're doing God's work.
Why the motel?
Because it was close to the music venue. And unlike the hospital, there were more able-bodied people there. At least, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But the only person who came with me was
What?
Chiaki.
Oh, you gotta do the poopy? I gotta empty my butt. Oh.
Well, hurry back. Nice.
But I remember feeling a little relieved because not long after, we met up with Mikan and Fuyuhiko.
We were also looking for Ibuki since she disappeared from our sight.
After I rested for a bit, I started counting everyone at the hospital. And then I noticed Ibuki was gone. So I sprinted out of the hospital. Coincidentally, I ran into Fuyuhiko. So I pled with him in various ways to see if he could help me out.
Various ways?
Don't say it like that and confuse people.
After I heard from those two that Ibuki disappeared, I had a feeling she was the person wearing the hemp bag. So I immediately led them to the music venue.
Your nose is wrong. Why do your feet smell? Why do bears shit in the woods?
But the door wouldn't open. Since we had no other option, the four of us broke down the door.
Okay. Oh, you didn't.
And when that happened, we didn't just find Ibuki's body. We also found Hiyoko's.
Yes.
And not just that. Her body.
That's when we heard the body discovery announcement. Not once, but twice in a row.
And so we decided to lower the hanged body, didn't we?
I love that you guys are essentially just doing dad jokes over a case where somebody gets hanged and then somebody gets their throat slit. Top quality. I love it. Thank you.
When we removed the hemp bag, just as we feared, it was Ibuki.
So that's how the case played out. Thank you. I understood it very easily.
Well, it's clear what the problem with this case is. When Hajime left the music venue, who...
Wait, how do I know anything Hajime just said is true? Sorry, I'm only being impartial right now. The story I just heard is clearly suspicious.
What else would be an appropriate time for a dad joke? I don't know. Being at a funeral, probably.
Hajime, if you're the only one who saw the hanging video, and the first one to discover Ibuki's body, then you could be lying as much as you want right now, right?
Lie? Why would I lie?
Obviously. So you could make us ignore what might be an inconvenient truth for you.
Poor taste. Yeah. Then again, I've never let that get in the way of making a joke, so.
Do you doubt me?
If you're not lying, I would like you to prove it.
Hell well.
Come on, try to prove it to me. Prove you're not the killer.
Just making myself laugh.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie? Did Hajime kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's fault. Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
Damn it! Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously because he's the killer.
Did Hajime kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's fault. Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously because he's the killer.
Did Hajime kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie Damn it! Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously because he's the...
Did Hajime kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie... No, that's wrong!
I'm not the killer! I mean, there's no way I'd be able to imitate that movie.
Of course you're not. I already knew that.
Why? Why? Why?
Because he messes with you.
Why?
Before the incident, Hajime had never watched that movie. His invitation ticket is proof of that. Each person only received one ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. Isn't that right, Monokuma?
Yes, no mistakes there.
Which means there's no way Hajime, who never saw the movie, could commit murders that imitated it. Or did anyone tell him what happens in the movie? Of course no one did, right?
Hold on a sec! You're the one who brought this up in the first place!
Nagito, what are you doing?
Well, since we're opening with your witness testimony, I thought we should solidify the foundation. It also provides a good warm-up.
What warm-up? This isn't a game, you know.
Don't get mad. I just think warming up is really important. Especially since this isn't a game.
Glad to sponsor me. I'm a ripe cow. I'm a ripe cow with teeth.
What a waste of time. Well, I knew it would turn out like this anyway.
Now then, since we know Hajime's testimony is reliable, let us move on to the arguments.
So this means Ibuki definitely climbed the stepladder all by herself, right?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Then that seals it! Ibuki committed suicide!
If Ibuki committed suicide, Then who killed Hiyoko?
Ari misses her pet snail.
A murder coincidentally occurring in the same place as a suicide. Ain't possible, huh?
Like I said before, it's pretty clear what the problem with this case is. The killer murdered Hiyoko while Hajime was gone. So all we gotta do is establish who could have possibly done that.
Then let's ask Hajime. How long would you say you were away from the music venue?
I couldn't have been gone for more than 10 minutes.
So they killed Hiyoko and taped her up within 10 minutes? There's no way that's possible.
That's why the killer stalled for time by making the music venue a closed room.
What do you mean, a closed room?
The killer blocked the venue door from the inside to try and keep us from entering right away.
However, that door is the only entrance to the music venue, right?
You ready, girl? You being crazy doggo? You're being crazy doggo. Rip Snaily Boy, yes. R.I.P. Snaily Boy. He is missed. He is missed.
If they blocked the door from the inside, the killer would not have been able to leave either.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Which means, when we broke down the venue door, the killer was still inside.
They were?
If that's the case, the only suspicious people are those who don't have an alibi for that time. And that's you two! Sonia and Kazuichi!
Me too?
What the hell? Why's it gotta be us?
The others all have alibis. Chiaki, Mikan, Hajime, and I all broke down the venue door together. Gundam met up with Hajime at the motel right before that. And if Akane and Nagito were laid up in the hospital, the only person that leaves is one of you. There's another person who doesn't have an alibi. You know, Nekomaru.
Me too!
Hey, why are you talking like... Huh? You're kidding, right? You're not up to something weird, are you?
Please stop making bad jokes.
Anyway, if the killer was hiding inside the venue, we should obviously doubt the people who don't have alibis.
What a wicked way of backing us into a wall! Is this his professional skill?
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt to lock the door. By doing that, the killer who was hiding inside waited till we gathered together and suddenly appeared.
So they looked like they had just rushed over.
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Zach's here.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt to lock the door.
What you said.
By doing that, the killer who was hiding inside waited till we gathered together and suddenly appeared.
So they looked like they had just rushed over.
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
I haven't.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt to lock the door. By doing that, the killer who was hiding appeared.
So they look like
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt to lock the door. By doing that, the killer waited until we get, and suddenly it...
So they look like
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside,
Damn it!
the killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a...
The lock was on the floor.
Are you talking about the broken...
You can use that as a... By doing that, the killer waited until we get... And suddenly it...
So they look like
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
Maybe you're supposed to read.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt. By doing that, the killer waited until we get... And suddenly it...
So they look like
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
Is that was on the inside, like the inside of the door? So it stays shut.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside. No, that's wrong.
There we go.
Wait a second. There's also a possibility that the door was locked from the outside. From the outside? How? There was a semi-transparent glob stuck to the venue door. Maybe that's what they used.
Semi-transparent glob. Like rubber, maybe? I see!
That semi-transparent glob must have been glue.
Glue?
Yeah, I think so too. It had a firm, gel-like chewiness, and I could smell workshop chemicals the moment I put it in my mouth. Based on all that, I'm certain it was glue.
I didn't know glue was edible.
I believe it is not something one typically eats.
That glue was only applied to the areas where both doors touched.
There's all this free popcorn on the ceiling, though. There's cotton candy on the wall.
By pouring it in the gaps of the closed door, they must have sealed the venue door from the outside.
And thanks to that, a glob of glue was left where the door was stuck. Yep, it fits perfectly.
But if you just stick them together with glue, wouldn't be able to break down the door easily, you know?
That doesn't really matter. The killer only did that to make us think the door was locked from the inside.
What'd you say?
First of all, didn't that drumstick we found seem really obvious? Almost unnaturally so? It was so obvious that it makes more sense to think the killer placed it as a diversion.
Are you saying the drumstick was a trap the killer set on purpose? Then I totally fell for that fucking trap.
Apologize to Miss Sonia and me. However, you're not allowed to slice open your stomach this time.
In a quarrel, both sides are to blame. That's why it's better to just have no sides at all.
So, during the 10 minutes Hajime
Nobody's
left
a
the
fucking
venue,
trap.
the killer murdered Hiyoko and created a closed
this
space?
And they also taped her up after killing her, right?
Even quick work has limits.
Oh, what
nobody's trapped
unimaginable
this time.
speed for a slowpoke like me.
If they couldn't have done it while Hajime was away from the venue, they must have done it earlier than that.
But when Hajime got to the venue, only Ibuki's body was there, right?
And when you went back with everyone else, Hyoko's body was there too, right? But it's possible that the body was just revealed at that time, when Hyoko was actually killed earlier.
Just revealed?
Of course, the body wasn't revealed on its own. The killer did that too. Here, I have proof.
That scrap of paper. Is that what we found in the baton lighting at the music venue?
That's right, but just what is this scrap anyway?
There's the girl. I mean, technically it's like a bunny, but...
Is Zach in here?
No.
He was. I swear to God, if you're in here and you listen to me, you just subscribe to my channel.
You just subscribed to me too.
Okay, I don't think
Oh. Oh. Ultimate Waiver 15.
Got it!
part of the wallpaper in the storage room? In the music venue storage room, there should have been black wallpaper that's the same color as that scrap. There was also a tear along the edge of the wallpaper, wasn't there? If so,
You're right. You overlaid the scrap that was caught on the lighting, tear in the wallpaper. See? It fits perfectly.
Doesn't match that one either.
No, that doesn't match. Fuck. No, that doesn't match at all.
I see. Stuff that was caught on the baton lighting was originally part of the wallpaper.
And what's wrong with that? Does it have something to do with Hyoko's body disappearing?
A mere nobody like me isn't important enough to answer that. But if you guys were exceptional enough to identify that scrap of paper, you can figure this out easily.
He's actually one of the most popular characters of the series.
He's the guy with clinical depression.
He does that, and
Indeed. Okay. Logic die time.
Well, I think it was the snowboarding game, probably.
Oh, I guess I gotta go faster. Got it. Fuck. 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 Ah, that's wrong. Fuck.
These nerve replies to Steven's body paint thing. I'll do it. I do it with you. I said, it's kind of hard to hide a penis under paint, bro. Yes, it'll be an elephant. I said, if you do that, Pixar can have it. No. He goes, you're right, well, what am I thinking? A snake is more than on my face.
I swear it was. Hey, I got it.
It's all coming together! Got it! Hyoko's body was hidden before we found it.
Can we just have one game mechanic where it just turns into a fucking bullet hell shooter?
But it would have taken quite a long time to tape up a hidden body.
No, the body was already taped up and the killer hid it, along with the pillar using the wallpaper.
What? They hid the pillar?
Yeah, by wrapping the wallpaper around the pillar, the killer was able to create a slightly larger pillar. So when I first discovered Ibuki's body, Hyoko's body was already there. However, because it was concealed within a slightly larger pillar, I didn't realize that at the time.
Mike, Ari asked this, from this game, fuck, marry, kill.
From this game?
Yeah.
Who would I'm trying to think. I don't remember their names.
I killed Yoko. It's fucking annoying.
I don't remember their names.
that's understandable.
This acts like
It makes sense that you'd notice Ibuki's body right away.
What's me? I don't know. What's you?
Alright, I don't remember the name.
Well, that's
Fuck nerd kid.
okay.
Nerd doc kid.
Okay.
Still not
True.
good.
So they used the baton lighting on the ceiling to hang the wallpaper?
The baton lighting forms a perfect circle around the pillar. So
Then, the reason the wallpaper was covered in so many stickers is to make
Oh,
it
you're
look
back.
like that pillar.
You just subscribed to our channels just now? Really?
That's how they hid Hyoko's body, and then peeled off the wallpaper as soon as I left the music venue.
But the killer made a mistake. They accidentally ripped off a piece of the wallpaper, and because of that, a scrap was left on the baton lighting.
the killer must have been in a hurry. Their plan took too long. Hajime could have walked in on them.
But going to the trouble of hiding his body and the pillar is very bold and risky.
The crime itself would be much easier to pull off, since they don't have much to do while Hajime's gone. They just have to peel off that wallpaper and stash it in the storage room. It's not that big of a deal.
He's been subbed forever.
Then, when was Hyoko actually killed?
Good point. And on that note, it's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
You mentioned imitation murder more than once. But what is that?
Are you kidding me? You haven't seen my masterpiece? The Wizard of Monami 2.5D?
Hey, don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission.
Copyright infringement. I'm gonna go to jail.
You're pretty noisy for someone who eats mothballs.
Mothballs? Or are those mothballs? That's just moss.
It's a funny rabbit reference.
I don't eat moss balls. I
They're
just
just
enjoy
moss
looking
balls.
at them. I knew it. There are so
Balls
many
of moss.
similarities. It must have been intentional.
It's probably some weird Japanese cultural thing.
Ibuki's death
I
by
have no
hanging
fucking idea.
matches the Scarecrow's death from the movie. Not just that, but Hyoko getting taped up after her death matches the lion's death.
It's as if both crimes were replicas of scenes from the movie, although the mutilated Tin Man was omitted.
But why did the killer go to all this trouble in the first place?
Based on what we know, the reason the killer chose these imitations isn't that difficult to figure out.
I see!
The reason the killer imitated two of the murders from the movie was so he'd mix up the killing order.
Then, Hyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
A valid line of reasoning.
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that as well.
Beauty. If you're going to cry and beg like that, then I guess I'll hear about the condition of Ibuki's body.
I'm not even crying.
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. Just hurry up and tell me before I change my mind.
What a jerk!
Oh, I see. You want me to explain it to you, right? Because you don't understand what I'm saying, right?
An even bigger jerk? Impossible!
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right? That means when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
Before she loses her head. Yeah? No, I'm referring to the fact that she hurt herself.
Zach.
Oh yeah, I know.
Jack.
Where she goes, hey, you left her hanging this morning. And I'm like,
Jack, I
I highly doubt that 21 minutes ago was forever ago.
That's forever in that.
What's wrong with that?
But it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed. That would mean Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
How light. Your words are so light as the sylph's feather. Your opponent is out of your league. It is too absurd to try to perplex me so inadequately.
Man, he's being annoying again.
First and foremost, you claim Ibuki's feet were touching the floor when Hiyoko was killed. How can a low-class creature with no psychic abilities like you know something like that?
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor.
It seems you suffer from a pathetic delusion.
You're one to talk.
Yeah. How does anybody not know this?
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor. When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I'm glad you got.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something?
Maybe her feet were on the floor. That she was like sitting or something. So instead, there'd be a mark on her ass.
Weak, I say! It doesn't even pierce my heart!
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence!
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something?
Crap!
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence!
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something? Were there even any footprints at the crime scene?
Maybe her feet were on the floor. That she was like sitting or something. So instead, there'd be a mark on her ass.
Weak, I say! It doesn't even pierce my heart!
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence!
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something? Were there even any footprints at the crime scene?
Maybe her feet were, but she was like sitting, so instead there'd be...
Weak. It doesn't even pierce my heart!
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something?
I agree with that.
Oh, you shoot the white?
No, you had to shoot it with the right thing.
Just as Sonia said,
You had to
Ibuki
agree with
stepped
the
on
fact
something.
that she had something on her feet. Not that she used a step right.
That something
We're not
was
at that
blood.
part yet.
There were faint bloodstains on the soles of her slippers.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? She suffered no external injuries. Then it's Hiyoko's blood!
Hyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck. And she died almost instantly, right?
If Ibuki stepped on her blood,
means Ibuki was still standing when Hyoko was mortally wounded. Which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment Hyoko was killed.
Don't underestimate the power of the evil eye! Is that it? A shepherd dressed in his Sunday's finest still reeks of lamb, Hajime Hinata.
Does that mean you have a rebuttal?
Does that mean you have a rebuttal? But are you sure you're sure? If I show you how serious I am, this world might be destroyed, you know. You're so frightened you can't even make a sound. It seems you've realized our difference. However, the time for conviction starts now. You better entertain me to the fullest.
They call him Kagami.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to Hyoko? Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on you. Can't step on blood that was never there. Just see a nice nightmare. You're saying the blood on Ibuki. Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood. You can't step on blood that was... Just see a nice nightmare. You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet. Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on you. Can't step on blood that was never there. Just about see a nice nightmare.
Alright, I got it.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet. Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor. You can't step on blood that was never there. Just about 1 minute. See a nice nightmare.
As long as Ibuki's body has no open wounds, there's no doubt that that blood is Hyoko's.
Hyoko was taped to the pillar, yes. Then it's possible that the pillar still had blood on it. However, you cannot step on the pillar with your... It's been nearly 3 years since I've had to use 60% of my power.
Okay, I need to find the right thing.
Hyoko was taped to the pillar, yes. Then it's possible that the pillar still had blood on it. However, you cannot step on the pillar with your feet. It's been nearly 3 years since I've had to use 60% of my power.
Damn it!
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet. Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor.
Allow me to cut through those words!
Oh man!
That's not it. The reason there was no blood on the floor is because the killer wiped it away afterward.
Don't say such foolish things! You don't have proof of that at all!
Yes, I do. You look closer. There's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
When the killer tried to hide Hyoko's body, they probably cleaned the blood. Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right? Even if they're able to hide Hyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Yes!
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
Hyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding. Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating, so I don't think they had to go that far. Aside from Mikon, none of us were aware of that fact, so the killer probably did not know it either.
Maybe the heater was running inside the music venue so it would screw with Mikon's autopsy?
That's right! I didn't know the time of death because of the heater!
The time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file just to keep concrete evidence from us.
Yep. Since we have all this evidence, there's no one else who wants to object, right? Then it's decided. Hyoko was killed before Ibuki.
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now. Fine then. But regardless of good or evil, there's no deceit in upholding one's convictions.
Can't you just shut up and back off?
Now then, let us resume our debate.
Wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first.
Huh? Again? Didn't something like this happen last time, too?
Yeah, it's almost like these cases are exactly the same. Except this one is done by a movie instead of a video game.
Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
Stare into the camera.
The same as always, you have to vote for who the killer is. Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself. Unfortunately, that means there's no Blackened to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can always punish Monami.
Why me?
Nagito? What do you mean? If the victim actually committed suicide?
Well, I mean, I understand Hyoko's dead, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered. For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hyoko, and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right?
That's totally impossible! Then she never would have killed her to begin with!
She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means anything can happen.
But if Ibuki's the killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right? After Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of Hyoko's body soon after means the killer had to be alive at that time.
Then she was alive! When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead. If she waited until Hajime left, that's when she could have made her move and mess with the crime scene.
She hanged herself, remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked that.
And if she was going to fake her death, I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging. Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
I see. So that means there's no doubt that someone killed those two. I'm glad. Now I'm free to search for the killer.
What the heck?
There's still one more issue on my mind. If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, then just what was that video Hajime saw? According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the stepladder, right? Then does that mean someone forced her to do it?
Forced? Perhaps they used hypnotism or something?
I don't know anything about that.
Don't say it all proud.
Putting that aside, it seems obvious that the killer did something. So, maybe we should figure out who was...
So, an alibi. Then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi. Since Hajime has seen the video, it is clear what time the crime took place. But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature.
Then, the video Hajime saw was actually live?
What time did Hajime see that video?
I saw it at the hospital, right before Monokuma's morning announcement. And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's announcement.
So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement. And since we established that Hyoko was killed before Ibuki, that means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
Then, we just have to find the person who doesn't have an alibi during that time?
Now then, I shall issue my decree. Let Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi commence!
can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi. What about you guys? I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has failed!
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi. What about you guys? Supposed to be my own cottage.
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi. What about you guys? I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has failed!
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi. What about you guys? I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then
no, that's wrong!
Hold on. Not all of us are missing an alibi. In fact, Mikan and I both have alibis.
You two have alibis?
Up until I saw that hanging video, Mikan and I were actually together for a while.
We even woke up together that morning.
And all that implies...
Hey, what kind of situation is that?
I accidentally fell asleep on top of Hajime.
Too much info.
How awkward she is.
She's a pure cupcake. She's too pure for this world.
Yeah, it's not like that. She just came to tell me Nagato's condition had improved.
She's a pure sleepy cupcake.
And we went to the hospital together afterward. So we were together until right before the announcement.
I get it. You guys have alibis.
If that's the case, the killer must be someone else.
It's better if we think about it like that. The killer decided to falsify the murder sequence to hide the actual time of the crime anyway.
So it's inevitable that an alibi for both before and during the morning announcement would be very important.
It feels like Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has backed us into a corner instead.
But committing an imitation murder, is that really all it was? faking the time the crime occurred by falsifying the murder sequence, hiding their alibi in the process. Was that the only reason the killer made both bodies imitate the movie?
Are you saying there was another reason?
I feel really bad for confusing you guys so much, but that's how I feel. I think the killer had a completely different reason for falsifying the murder sequence.
Oh hey, look at that.
Hiya!
Stop it!
Disappointment.
I guess that's it.
I'm Monami. Once again, I've been put in such an unreasonable situation.
Master Chief Snake just came in. I'm sorry, Master Chief Snake. That's all for tonight. Part 2 is coming out real soon.
Early Sunday.
Yeah. Either that or like a day later. Like a day later or something like that. Or a day earlier.
Well, if you come early enough tomorrow, we can play it.
That is true. I mean, what is
And
it?
otherwise, well, Alex would be like, oh, play a game, right? Play a game, right? You're not gonna watch this all over. So we're gonna play a game. We're gonna play a game. We're gonna play games. The games, right? Tell me. Let's go.
Oh shit, it is Persona Squadron.
Yeah.
Persona Squadron is on my friend list.
Oh, okay.
But, sorry man. You just caught the last part of it. So, I mean, I'm gonna finish the trial this week, so, you're gonna do your job. Do it.
I'm gonna do it in Beavis' voice this time.
Alright.
That's it for this week's episode. If you liked it, punch the like button in the face. Like a boss, I guess. And high fives all around. Wow! Wow!
I will dominate it.
No! Well, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see how you do. And that's the end!